Hey everybody, welcome to today's stream. Hopefully everyone's having a good day today. We are going to be, we're going to be doing some Dark Dimension 3, we're going to be doing some Ultimus 7 today. We'll probably get to some Blitz Roulette also at some point. Obviously, for those of you that follow me during the week, today is the Marvel Strike Force stream. At least the really big one for the week. Alright, so why don't we get started? So, do a little tidying up. I did play a little bit earlier today and use up just my energy for the war and campaign stuff, do some farming, but save the good stuff for you guys. I did already manage to clear all of the hard nodes for the Squirrel Girl event, but now we're just farming those. Asteroid M's coming up. Do I already have Magneto at 7? Hey, thanks for the follow. And yeah, hey Shara, how you doing? Let's see where Magneto is only 6 stars. Will I actually be able to get him to 7 during the event? Doing pretty well. Having a pretty good day. Spent some time with the family, which was awesome. I think I should be able to get Magneto to 7 during the next Asteroid M event, which is good. Alright, what else we got going on? So in Arena, I have been slowly climbing back up to where I feel I belong, as opposed to down around rank 250. Yeah, things are going much better. Thanks for asking. I do appreciate it. We'll do a little blitzing in a little bit. Why don't we jump into Dark Dimension to start? How does that sound to everyone? Do this, and I'm actually gonna throw a little post here. Where is the Discord group? Marvel Strike Force. I think it is very cool that all these big mobile games put together Discord channels that give people a space that they can advertise their streams. Is very cool. And you know what? I did get some feedback that some people want me to maybe change up the team I'm using for Ultimus 7 just to see how some different teams work, so I think I'm going to do that today too. Come on. What's going on here? Put it in there. Nice. And then got some streaming peeps, so I can do that. We can do that. Okay, I think that's what we needed to do. We'll just do a little announcement on our own server here. Let everyone know we are live. Okay. How are you doing tonight, Shara? Thanks again for that follow, R2T2. Do appreciate it. So let's go ahead and launch this. Glad to hear you're doing well. Glad to hear it. So right now, this is the team I'm working with for Dark Dimension 3. It's not ideal, of course. These defenders are my great mark of shame because I focused on them too early and too long, but we do have Minerva, we do have Phoenix, who are both vital Dark Dimension 3 characters, and we're also running Cyclops, who complements Phoenix well. Very soon I hope to have Symbiote Spider-Man in the lineup here, followed eventually by Carnage and Ghost Rider, and eventually probably Colossus. Hey R2-T2, how you doing today? Sure, you got Hell 2 Gear Tier 13. Gear Tier 13. That's awesome. Now you have 3, just 2 more. Yeah, and then you can start DD3. That's awesome. And not a moment too soon now that we know Dark Dimension 4 is coming down the pipeline here. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so everyone can see I've got this little marker down here on the bottom right side of the screen. I recently joined the PWW Mobile Game Ambassadors group, also called the PWW MGA. Super great group of people, a lot of streamers. They stream a lot of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. They do some Marvel Strike Force, some other stuff, but they're a group of people that are really dedicated towards teaching newer players and helping people out and offering advice and things like that, which is super cool. So I very much recommend people check them out a little more. Iron Fist already getting the drastic uppercut. I will actually go ahead and put their stream info in the channel here for those of you that may not be part of their Discord yet. Alright, so I think we're going to start by focusing on Captain Marvel here. I normally don't go this slowly through things, but I really want to think this one out more, so we're going to slow Dark Dimension 3 down a bit, and then we'll speed up when we finish up with that. Alright, so we lost Iron Fist, that's not surprising. We're going to use Phoenix to stealth our team members so that the attacks go to her, and we will now get Dark Phoenix. Nice damage from Phoenix. I'm actually going to hold off on the health steal to see if we can put it to better use, but we will throw some big damage towards Captain Marvel, and now this is what I've been waiting for. We're going to throw a ton of damage on everybody from Cyclops here, so. Boom! Look at that. Wiped out an entire line, basically. Cyclops is just a really strong character. Alright, so we are actually going to use Minerva's special here because it will revive Iron Fist, who we lost. We can go over the characters I'm using after the fight, and I'll show you exactly what power and abilities I have on everybody. Alright, so again, we're going to focus on Captain Marvel in this wave also, because she's just the most dangerous to me. So we'll go ahead and use Iron Fist. Punch, although it was a scratch, but that's fine. Obviously, we want to use Phoenix's ult as often as possible. Big damage. I like the big damage. Oy. Alright, so we lost Dark Phoenix. That's unfortunate. We will throw defense down on Captain Marvel here. I love that they updated Cyclops' passive, that you, rather basic, that you don't need Psylocke, that it's just as long as you have one other X-Men character on the team, he gets a guaranteed defense down. Punishes ult. The animations in this game are gorgeous, by the way, compared to some of the other mobile games that I play. The love and attention that went into Marvel is just awesome. Deletes Cyclops. Alright, that is the end of that attempt. I may spend some power cores to do another attempt a little later on in the stream, but for now, we're going to move on to other stuff. Alright, so as per Sharo's request, we're going to go ahead and open up who we've been using here. So, Iron Fist, again, this is not a recommendation I'm making here. No, I hear you, R2-T2. I hear you. I'm so glad that I've started playing Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, mostly just because it makes me appreciate this game more. Not to knock Star Wars, it's still a good game, but it's really night and day. Also, how like the developers treat the community, I feel is very different in Marvel versus Star Wars, but that's a whole other conversation. But so this is not a recommendation I'm making. This is a holdover because I started playing this game in 2018, and at the time Defenders was a top tier team, and so I was investing heavily in them. So he happens to have all max T4 abilities, and he's gear tier 14, 7 stars with 6 red stars. He's got a very high power, a lot of health, respectable damage, especially with his Iron Fist ability, but otherwise not a recommendation. My Minerva is only 5-star at this point. This character, because of the way her kit works, it's not super vital that you get her stars to max. Obviously, it can't hurt, but you don't need to prioritize it versus other characters. I do have her first 3 abilities at T4. I am working on the final ability also, but these materials are precious, and I have other priorities at the moment. But eventually, I will completely max her out. But it's less important for this character again. So that's Minerva. Then we have Phoenix. I have Phoenix at 6 stars. I will not be getting her to 7 stars during the next event. I'm still a ways off. But I am working on slowly maxing out her abilities just because they do lots of damage and they clear positive effects and things like that, which is nice. Then we have Cyclops. I only have Cyclops at 4 stars. Cyclops is not farmable at this point in the game. He hasn't been since release. I do have his team synergy maxed, which is really important because it gets to the point where it starts generating 2 charged on his and each X-Men ally's turn, and that's the most important aspect here. Because when he uses Optic Devastation, which was that was the ability that cleared the majority of that wave, he does an additional 25% damage per charge, so when he has up to 20 charges, that's a lot of damage. R2-T2, you only just started playing MSF because PWW Daniel is in your guild, and you were supporting him with the streaming. Didn't think you'd enjoy it this much, but it's great. Yeah, so we have a couple transplants now from Star Wars in our alliance in MSF, and they all sort of share the same sentiment of they didn't understand exactly how good the game is, but it's really good. You guys, I don't know if I'm just getting feedback on my headphones here. Do you guys hear a little bit of like a ticking sort of sound almost? Hold on, I'm going to mute this for a second and see if it's... on my end. It's related to BlueStacks. I'm getting a weird ticking from BlueStacks. It's not ideal, but it's what we've got. Hey, Groovy Gordon, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by the stream, man. For those of you who are just lurking in the background, I respect your right to lurk, but just so you know, if you say at least a howdy in chat so I know you're here, everyone will get a free raffle ticket for the end of the month $25 gift card drawing. So feel free to drop a line and just let me know you're watching, and I appreciate it, each and every one of you. So definitely take advantage of that. What do we got in the store here? We're gonna pick up. Nah, we don't have enough gold. Yeah, so really weird going on the stream. I've been playing since October of 2018. Alright, we just got some additional power here, so we're going to go ahead and do this. Before we jump into Ultimus 7, let me just see if there's anything I can put into some of my characters here. Carnage. Let's take a look at Carnage here. Alright, not yet. I've been saving up my gold because I'm trying to max out Mr. Sinister's passive so that I can throw a solid Marauders team on my war defense. But I got to get him to level 64, and I'm a little gold strapped. Tomorrow, the gold challenge will put me where I need to be, but for today, I have to hold off on him. You got a lot of catching up to do. Yeah, but you know what? There's some really great stuff that you have going for you as new players that we didn't have when we started. Yeah, they've been making a lot of improvements and adding a lot of new content, which is great. I don't know what is going on with this. In fact, honestly, I think I'm going to reload this to see if it fixes the audio. I don't know what was up with that. Yeah, now it sounds better. I don't know what was up with that. So yeah, it is a great time to be a new player. I mean, honestly, you guys for the July calendar event got Minerva shards, which that's like unheard of for us. So it's dinky characters that we would get. The actual events have been yielding a really good amount of character shards, like the current Squirrel Girl event makes it very attainable, in my opinion, for moderately powered players to acquire new characters, which is great. There's a lot of really good stuff to do. And you've got a lot of options too. Like when I started playing, the answer was like you need to get Defenders followed by Guardians of the Galaxy. And there was no budging from that. There were no options. There was no like, no, there's other things you can choose to do and still be relevant in the meta. And now you guys have options. You can choose Sinister Six. You can choose as Guardians relatively early on, and they're a top tier team. They're definitely like a top 3 team. So you guys are in a really good spot just starting that you have a lot more flexibility. Yeah, definitely. I feel the same way, Shara. Squirrel Girl's event was a lot easier than previous events. Alright, so we've got Ultimus 7 here. We are doing difficulty 1. Our alliance has some newer players in it, so it's going to be a little while probably before we even start 60%ing this raid, but we consistently get above 30% on this raid. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes dailies take about 10 minutes. Yeah, no, there is a lot to do in this game, although blitzing is generates a lot of fatigue, so I am looking forward to them streamlining that, to be honest. Alright, so this is my lane over here. For this node, your major target is going to be Pyro, just because the amount of bleed that he's going to put on your characters. Obviously, Magneto's a problem only because of his opening blind. Outside of that, he's not a huge threat. And Mordo is a problem for this node also, so your priority should be Pyro followed by Mordo, and if Magneto's around, take him out as your third option. But then in the second wave again, you're going to focus Pyro followed by Mordo. So we're going to go ahead and launch this node. Now normally this, not this, this is from Old 6, where are we? Normally this is the team I use for Ultimus 7. This position is sort of a flex position on this team for me. You can either use Hela or I'll use Symbiote Spider-Man also. But just to mix things up a little bit, people have asked that I do Symbiote Spidey and Carnage to sort of highlight some different mechanics and a bit of a higher damage for a faster clear through the node. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to lose some sustain from Shuri's healing, but in theory with the added speed from the extra damage for the clear, it should actually not make a big difference. Experiment time. I am going to keep it on 3 speed, but I'll try to walk you guys through what's happening. Again, I already mentioned Pyro should be your first target, so we're going to go ahead and throw some bleed on him. And we're going to prolong the duration of that bleed with Symbiote Spidey. Not that it mattered, because he went down right away. We're going to bring down our Ultron minions. We're going to, because Mordo put some debuffs on us, we're actually going to lead with the debuff flip from side to Supreme, where normally I would lead with the other ability, her ultimate. We're going to throw some buffs from our minions, but we're going to skip the heal on that one. And then we're going to ult Mortal up the board. So now you have some flexibility as to who you take out next. It doesn't really matter that much. Hey PG, how you doing? Alright, so again, now that Magneto dropped, we're going to switch our attention to him to try to take him out before he blinds the team. That'll throw the slow on him to, again, prevent the likelihood he does it. And with that bleed, that should actually finish him. So we'll turn our attention to Pyro. We don't need to reset our minions here. And at this point in the match, we also want to start thinking about conservation of cooldowns and stuff. Alright, we actually managed to chain and kill Magneto. Mordo will be our next target. And we're just going to basic attack our way through the rest of this node in order to maintain our cooldowns here. And that's that first node cleared. Okay. Sorry, let me just check. I got a phone call. I want to make sure it's not an emergency. All right, so next node. Do you guys want me to stick with the same team or use the first team? I will stick with this team for this node. Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. All right, so for this node, Carnage is your first target, because on top of the bleeds that he can put on you, his damage is increased immensely when attacking targets with debuffs. So you want to take him out of the equation as quickly as possible. We're going to go ahead and heal a little bit and buff our team. And then we're going to use Ultron's ult to take Carnage out of the equation. Ah. Alright, so we're going to dump some more bleeds on Juggernaut here. We're going to flip all our debuffs to buffs with Scientist Supreme. Or I guess not all of them, but some of them. Alright, we already have Ultron's bots out, so we don't need to drop them again. Alright, now we're going to, even though Carnage is a bigger threat than Doctor Strange, I like to just throw some even damage on him because I worry about him reviving fallen teammates. So it really depends on how many turns it takes me to take out the first or second Carnage, whether or not I spread the love a little bit to the to Doctor Strange. Alright. We're gonna go for Venom next. After Carnage, Venom is the next biggest threat. Throw some bleed on him from Minerva. And then we'll wipe him out. Alright, next wave, Carnage is dropped. So again, we're going to turn our attention to Carnage. And we will drop some debuffs on the enemy team. We're going to summon some replacement minions here because we lost a few. Alright, so we lost some buffs from Vision, but that's fine. We're going to flip those debuffs to buffs with Scientist Supreme. And now we should be good for the rest of the node. I actually want to take out Vision now only because of his ability to clear buffs. And again, now we're worried about conservation of cooldown, so we're just going to more or less basic attack our way through the rest of this. We're going to get that chain attack from Symbiote Spider-Man, and that'll finish out the second node. Alright, so this is the first boss node that we're going to go into. Again, our priority order is going to be Carnage, followed by Venom. After Venom, I like to focus on Miles, only because of his slow/stun. And then from there, I'll take out Iron Fist to unravel the sustain of the defenders and go from there. We're going to stick with the same symbiote team, just because usually we use that Shuri Hela in the last two spots here, so we'll stick with our symbiotes this time around. Are you guys liking the symbiote team a little better? Is it more entertaining to watch the clears than the endless sustain of the Shuri Hela team? Good to know. I think we're going to stick with it. I like it. Let's get some emotes going for Ultimus 7 here. Nice. Alright. I'm actually going to bring this down to 2 times. Alright, so we're going to start focusing on Carnage here. Get some bleeds on him. Did a lot of damage that Ultron just took. Really. Look at all those bleeds. Ult Venom here. Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on using Scientist Supreme's ult, actually. We're gonna delete Carnage right here. Bye. Really? Still around, huh? The Iron Fist over there, but it's fine because... Ta-da! And he's back again! Yeah, I don't want to risk him not bleeding to death. Alright. Now I will go ahead and throw debuffs on everybody. I will throw that up right after this, R2-T2. Alright, so Carnage is off the field. Miles is going to drop down, but he's stealth, so we will turn our attention to Iron Fist until Miles is attackable. Obviously, we have to deal with Luke Cage's taunt first. I'm gonna go ahead and throw some buffs on our party. Go for it. Alright. Now we're gonna put our attention on Iron Fist. All the defense down. Alright, Iron Fist is down, which means the defenders will not be healing endlessly. Miles with the Disrupt. We will now turn our attention to Miles. We will get a heal off with this minion. I'm just going to auto the rest of this because I am worried about the time up here. So the only thing we're going to do is pick targets here. Alright, so now that Carnage is on the floor, we'll turn our attention to Carnage. Good hit from Symbiote Spidey. And then after Symbiote Spidey, we're going to move on to Iron Fist. Actually, because Venom hit the field, we'll turn to Venom instead. So we are going to time out on this one, and then we'll come in and just clean up. Oh! We lost Minerva though, that was really unfortunate. Not a problem. Alright, I will go ahead and drop the Discord link in chat here. Feel free to join. We use the Discord not just for stream announcements and stuff, but also to coordinate people playing with each other in some of the games that we play. I'm going to go ahead and heal Minerva here. And we will go clean the rest of this node up. I really don't use the raid healing charges or the raid charges to refresh energy for most of the raids we do, so I try to leave those for when we do this on Saturday. And we're going to start doing this on Wednesdays too, so during the Wednesday stream we're going to be doing Ultimus 7 also. Yeah, absolutely, R2T2, welcome to the Paleo Gaming family, as it were. I love that Kapow emote. Where did you get that from, Shara? Just in the list, huh? screen that for you guys. Hey, thanks for the bits, R2T2. Very generous. I appreciate it. Alright, we're gonna drop this back down to 2 here. Alright, so Venom we will get rid of very quickly. Should take one more attack, which we will use Symbiote Spidey's basic to then throw defense down on Spider-Man and Daredevil here. Because, yeah, we'll go ahead and stun these guys. I'm actually going to try to hold on to Ultron's ult for the next node. Because I don't think we're going to have enough turns for me to get it back. Oh, I meant to click basic, and I clicked the wrong thing. User error. All the dodges. Come on. And I could have brought her back too. Damn it. I am not on my A game this attempt. You know what? Alright. Now that I'm starting to worry myself, I'm going to have to go ahead and use that all. Thanks so much, R2T2. Have a great night. Go get some sleep. Alright, so Iron Fist will bleed out. Let's just make sure Punisher will also. And we can turn our attention to Miles now. I kind of want to drag the fight out a little bit just to revive Scientist Supreme so that we don't have to use any resources to do it. And we do, because of how far along we are, we do have some time to play with, so I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm going to try to do that if I can. Ah, you're taunting me though. Yeah, I couldn't hold out. Damn. Alright, so what do I want to do now? I think instead of spending the resources to heal Scientist Supreme, I think I'm going to flex the team a bit instead. We're going to drop Scientist Supreme, and I'm actually going to throw Venom onto the team. Unite the 3 symbiotes. You just finished getting Symbiote Spider-Man, Carnage, and Venom's abilities to 6664. Yeah, they're such a good team. I really like them so much. I can't wait until they round out the full Symbiote team. It's going to be exciting. Hopefully it's not too far away. So, a lot of people are really confident that they're going to put Shriek in to be a member of the Symbiote team. Even though she is a mutant, they think they're just going to put her on the team. I don't know if they will or won't, but that seems to be the general consensus. Beyond that, some people have said null. That seems a bit powerful, but we'll see. It wouldn't necessarily fit the Fox Next's MO to do this, but I would really love to see them to do all of the Venom symbiote offspring, and then give you a really flexible team you can choose, that you'd have the 5 of them and then the 3 existing symbiotes in the game, and you could just build your best team of 5. I don't know. Yeah, Toxin would be great. We're going to go ahead and summon Ultron's minions. Going to do some damage to Venom there. Throw our minion buffs. Didn't really think that the heal was necessary right there. And that'll get rid of Venom, which is a priority. Let's take out Vision here, because I don't want him clearing our buffs out. We can take out Scarlet Witch just because of her ability to redistribute health. Throw some defense downs with Symbiote Spider-Man's basic attack. There are no real threats on the board at this point, so we're just gonna basic attack our way through the remaining characters. Throw a heal just to keep people up. Alright, time to spare. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Alright, so we'll jump out of Ultimus 7. We do have Gamma 4 to do. But that should be pretty quick. We can actually auto through that, and I can chat with you guys a bit while we do that. Strike Team 1. So this first node is Brotherhood or Shield. I'm gonna go ahead and use Brotherhood. I didn't. That's awesome. I love to see the newer guys really coming up in power. That's very exciting. I'm actually gonna redo the raid rosters later tonight. Update them with some of the new players and where people's power currently is. I don't think it'll change anyone's existing lanes, but we'll have to take a look. So we're gonna just go ahead and auto this. This is a punch down, so I don't need to be that focused on it. Have any of you guys been playing with Beast yet? I've gotten him, but I haven't implemented him yet because he's just not quite there power-wise. But I am very eager to try him out. Maybe we can do that when we get to Blitz Roulette today. Maybe we can try some Beast in action and see just how good he makes X-Men. And then, like I said, I haven't decided yet, but I may spend some power cores to do another attempt on DD3 to push it a little farther. How do people feel about Doc Ock coming out? You'll get him. They're gonna do something with him. I don't. Did they announce what's gonna be Beast's deal? Is it gonna be a Blitz? Is it gonna be something else? I haven't fallen down on the job. It is gonna be a Blitz. That's what I thought. I'm actually hoping to get his star level up from the Blitz. That will probably be, unless, is Emma Frost going to be a Blitz also? I know she's still not going to be out for a little bit. I think it's still going to be a couple weeks for her. No idea. Unless she's a Blitz, I think I'm going to be, like, definitely taking a step back from blitzing a little bit. I'm definitely fatigued from the last couple events. I'm going to push really hard for Beast. I want to get as many character shards as I can of him because X-Men is, like, my favorite team in the meta currently. But after that, I think I'm going to cool my jets a little bit. Oh, you're saying you think she's going to be a milestone, maybe? I wouldn't mind that. I do pretty well on the milestones. Yeah, I am looking forward to getting her too, though, because I have been investing, like I said, a little bit in Mr. Sinister to add to my war defense. I think it's going to make a difference. That's fair. Yeah, that's true. I think they're all 2-star unlocks the Blitz characters. She is very powerful, absolutely. I do have to say, I was a little resistant when they had announced that Blob and Toad were coming out. you know, to replace Sabretooth and Mystique on the Brotherhood teams, that you can move them to Marauders. But especially Blob, I really actually like him. I think it's a great addition to the team, and I love how his kit works. I may very well lose one or more of the Brotherhood characters this node, which is not a problem because I'll just swap over to Shield if that happens. I do like the flexibility. Going back to what we were talking about with some of the differences between MSF and Star Wars, I like having the flexibility in these raid nodes to be like, alright, it's Brotherhood or Shield. You can use whichever's more powerful, or in cases like this, if you have one of your characters get knocked down a little too much, you can just flex them over for the next node. Not Magneto, Juggernaut is such a good tank. He really is. Blob has just refused to die this match. Getting a lot of mileage out of him. Yeah, but just, I don't know, it took a lot of damage. I'm surprised he didn't lose the death proof. Sliver. Just held on for dear life. Alright, we got a mini boss node here. We're gonna actually swap to aim for this node. Once we get through these gamma rated nodes, we will probably jump over to Blitz Roulette, I think. I think that makes the most sense. So does anyone have any questions about current characters they're using, if they think that they need some help figuring out the next character they should be working on bringing up, or anything like that? Nice, we just finished off the bridge in one. That's awesome. I think we should win this one. That's good. Hey, Daniel, how you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by the stream. Daniel is an awesome Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes streamer who also does play MSF. And is a premier member of the PWW Mobile Game Ambassadors, one of the founding members. Let's go ahead and get some PWW hype going in the channel here. But I'm going to again quickly post the link to the PWW Discord here, because it's definitely worth checking out for anyone who has not yet. It's a really great resource for people, and you know, it's so premium. It is so premium. It is the most premium. So definitely check them out. We're going to take over just to finish out this node before we time out. Start charging people. Does that mean I get a finder's fee too? Come on, what's going on there? There we go. Alright, cool. Another node down. I do like AIM as a team. They're just a really interesting team comp to use. You'll get 5% by the time we're done finding MGAs. Even though I still got 20 energy, I think I'm actually going to wait and finish that off stream just because this isn't entertaining me, so it's probably not entertaining you guys. So let's do something more fun. Now that Daniel's here, let's do some Blitz Roulette, because Daniel hasn't gotten to see that yet, I don't think. So why don't we do some of that? So, Blitz Roulette, for those of you that are new to the channel, is we're going to be doing some Blitz battles, but instead of just using like the standard teams that I have in my rotation, you guys get to pick all characters on the team that I'm using, and you also get to pick whatever team I pit them against. So we could end up doing some really interesting combos that could be experimental. You could try to do good stuff, you could try to do trolly stuff, whatever entertains you guys is what we'll do. Before we get into it, just as a reminder to check in on the only characters currently not available to me. I do not have Cull Obsidian, I do not have Squirrel Girl, I do not have Black Bolt, Ebony Moore, or Emma Frost. I have all other characters, so you guys can pick to your heart's content, and we're doing awesome in war, which is really good to see. I'm glad that we will be winning that war. So yeah, let's get into it. Feel free to just call out characters. You're allowed to pick more than one, just as they come to your mind. Just go ahead and give a shout. Why don't you lead us off, Shara? I know it's like an honor you have now because you're always around in stream. Quick feedback. We'll turn my audio up. Yeah, sure, absolutely. How's that? Is that a little better? Yeah, I've got my volume all the way up on the mic. Is that, I may just have been a little too far away. Is that any better, Daniel? I actually have to figure that out. I'm using a really old webcam. I need to actually, I think I'd like to get a new one myself, but this one does do the job. It's actually pretty sharp. It's a Logitech. I could try to look up the model after and let you know. Thank you. Thank you. So what do you guys think? Who do you want to see me blitz with tonight? Scrolling to give Shara inspiration. She likes when I scroll. Mr. Sinister. Okay. So, let's scroll back up to Mr. Sinister. Great Marauders character. Even though, yes, he's on the Marauders team, he really synergizes with a lot of teams because he can create that clone, which is an amazingly strong ability. Go out there and meet other streamers, and that your inventory is awesome. And where is everyone? I know. Where is everybody? What's going on? I know. Mastaff is streaming right now, so I think some people may be giving him some love right now, which makes sense. I'm actually going to suggest Beast because I really just selfishly want to see how he plays out since I just got him. Even though he's not at the highest power level. I'm just really curious to see how his kit works and how he synergizes with people outside the X-Men too. Which is good. What else? What else? Who do we still have in chat right now? Give me some shouts. Who you want to see? If not, I can just pick, but I much prefer you guys to weigh in. You've only been here 5 to 6 weeks and moving quite well. Just thought we need to improve this stuff. Sure, absolutely. MGA is a great idea. I really am behind it 100%. Why don't we actually throw in some X-Men character? Because I want to see how Beast shines here. So, appreciate it, Daniel. Appreciate it. Yeah, tonight's a quieter night. I think people often have plans on Saturdays. Because usually these MSF streams get probably around 9 to 12 people at a time, which is not a bad number. Yeah, get to bed, man. But thanks for stopping by, and definitely I'll see you around for sure. And we definitely have to collaborate soon, you and I. We will figure something out on a weekend for sure. Why don't we go with Phoenix, because Phoenix. We'll throw in Cyclops. Sounds good, man. Have a good night. We'll throw in Colossus for our protector here, and then let's go Cyclops, because everyone knows I adore Cyclops, but we will keep Mr. Sinister in here too. So let's see how we do. Mind you, this is tier 8, so this will be a challenge. Let's see who we want to throw this team against. So defenders would probably be my first choice as a relatively easy team to take out, but I kind of want to challenge this team, even though I know Beast is pretty low. So I think we should punch into this team here. This mixed Guardians, Ultron, Minerva team. We'll see how it does. Alright, so we're going to start by using Phoenix's stealth ability. We'll heal Mr. Sinister. That was a decent heal for a relatively low power level. Alright, Minerva's a pretty low power level on their team, so I want to take her out pretty quickly. But we're not going to clone him. We will do this instead. Then we're going to buff Colossus here. Alright, so that's what we wanted to do with Phoenix. That's pretty good. Alright, cool. So we're going to clone Ultron, because why wouldn't we? Right? Nice! It kills him and he revived right away. We're going to use Ultron to summon his minions. Super broken. And then we're going to taunt with Colossus here. Look at all these buffs. It's amazing. It's amazing! Obviously Ultron's back, but Cyclops will clear the field. Nice! Not a bad comp. Not a bad comp at all. Alright, we did break 3 million points. Again, I've said I'm not gonna push that hard. I would need to hit 15 million approximately, 15.5 million, in order to place top 2% to get more shards of X-23, which I would like to get because that would star her up, but we've only got a day left. I'm not going to hit 15 million points from here, so it's just not even worth it to me. I will probably, with 3 million here, I will probably come in the 11 to 25% range, realistically. that is good enough for me. I'm actually going to go ahead and use my last war energy here. I mean, we've got this in the bag at this point. It's just farming tickets for me, really. But we'll do it. There's no reason not to do it. Let's see what I got in my back pocket here. You don't know how anyone's going to have X-Force ready for Doc Ock. Well, there's two types of people that are going to be ready for Doc Ock. The first are our significant whales. Much whalier than me, right? Let's get some whale emoji going here. Whales. But the other type of people are going to be really, really high power people who are the kind of people that are placing like top 2,000 in Blitz and stuff, who are top 200 rather in is top 2,000? Top 2,000 in Blitz. Those people likely will have gotten enough shards of like X23 and Negasonic that they may be ready for Doc Ock. They likely will be. What power was that team I was looking at? 200? I might have two of them around. Did I use them already? I may have. That's silly of me. Alright, we'll just go ahead and use our Spider-Verse. Maybe, Shara. There are some people who just focused the right characters early enough on and adjusted to the meta quickly enough that that they're just on top. I wouldn't say those people are likely completely free to play, but some are certainly larger whales than others. I'm going to be completely honest. I was not diligent enough in my study of the game, I would say like a year ago as I am now, and so I had an opportunity to shift with the meta and pay closer attention to who I needed to be investing in, and I didn't, and I just kept putting into defenders because they were my highest team, and I was like, well, they're the easiest to get to DD2, and it made DD2 a slog for me, and I ended up with characters that I invested a lot of resources in that could have been better spent elsewhere. So I think I would be farther along in DD3, if not finished with DD3 already, had I focused on the correct characters. Come on, what's going on here? I know what's going on there. But it's fine. Everything's fine. He's gonna bleed to death, so I'm just gonna whack rescue here. So like I've had Symbiote Spider-Man for a long time now, because I got him during the first milestone event, and I could have been focusing on him all along, but when he was a lower level, he wasn't as powerful, and, you know, I kind of slept on him a little bit and said, oh, you know, he's not that great, he's good, but he's not that great. And in reality, he's a top-tier character, and I just either wasn't using him right or just didn't have him at a high enough level that I had the abilities unlocked in a way that mattered. So I could have been focusing on him all this time. He'd be ready for DD3, and I'd be clearing it faster. So there were mistakes that I made. I'm learning. It's fine. I have uses for defenders. Everything's fine. But I certainly slowed myself down, if I'm being honest. Which is also why I think it helps when I'm informing newer players as to what they should be doing. Like, I learned the hard way, which I think helps me to impart why it matters to do this, not just like, oh, you should be investing in these characters just because I said so, or just because some other person said so. It's because I invested in the wrong characters, and now I'm actually seeing where it took me longer to do certain things because I did that. Groovy Gordon, how relevant are stars early? I'm considering getting my Guardians to 6-star for Star-Lord and then just going all in on symbiote gear. So, star level, how relevant is it? I mean, it's always relevant, but in earlier game to mid-game, star level matters really primarily in unlocks for legendaries and stuff, and that outside of that, I wouldn't be too concerned about it because star level is not as much of a power driver as gear is. Red stars are a little different because they're just a significant percentage increase on stats. So like certain characters, like for example Beast or Squirrel Girl, who are healing their teammates for a percentage of their max health, red stars are super, stars and red stars are super important for those characters. But for instance, if you look at a character like Minerva here, Minerva's primary driver of damage is mass phlebotomy, which steals 15% of health from all enemies. That 15% doesn't change based on her stats, so having a lot of stars on her isn't super important. It's important in that it makes her a little more resilient with her health and stuff, but outside of that, it doesn't change her kit or her gameplay much. So I would say if you're dealing with issues of like gold allocation for gear versus stars early to mid game, gear is more important for relevancy and power. Stars are more important only for unlocks. Now, if you're talking about whether you need to be, if you've already unlocked Star-Lord at 5 stars and you're just wondering whether you should be investing resources in getting him to 6 stars versus spending resources on gear for other teams, Guardians of the Galaxy is not a top tier team anymore. They're a mid tier team. So I would say you're better off going on symbiote gear. You're better off going for as Guardians. You're better off going for other characters than Guardians of the Galaxy. That's my 2 cents on it. I know a lot of people just for DD1. Yeah, I get that. So how many do you have other 6-star characters? How many 6-star characters do you have currently? You have none. Okay. So having no 6-star characters, if you're worried about just getting 6-star characters for unlocks, I would actually say you're probably better off pushing a lot of resources into Sinister Six, not because they're particularly good for Dark Dimension, but because at least by getting them to 6 stars, it allows you to unlock Shuri and Invisible Woman, both of whom are very good at 6 stars. So if I had to just choose, if you said pick any character for an early, pick any characters for an early game player to focus on, and you're worried about Dark Dimension, I would say probably focus on Sinister Six over Guardians of the Galaxy. Especially if you already have Star-Lord at 5. So Star-Lord's good to get, but not so much because of the Guardians, because they're functional, but they're not a priority team. Star-Lord, however, comes off of Guardians and functions really well on some other teams, like tech teams and cosmic teams and stuff. So I would get them at least to 5 stars to get him, but rushing them to 6 stars while they are usable in DD1, I think DD1 is going to be a little bit of a slog for you regardless, and Sinister Six I think can do the job similarly well. I won't say just as well, but similarly well, and they'll give you more mileage as far as legendary unlocks. That's my 2 cents on it. I know some of the major streamers are shoving Sinister Six down players' throats, and I know some of them are telling them to avoid them altogether, but I'm in the Sinister Six is pretty good for early characters to focus on, especially because that gives you a viable villains team to go through campaign, at least early on. How long have you been playing, Gordon? You've got them unlocked? Yeah, so I would definitely, I'd focus on them. Nice! A month. Yeah, you're a freshie. I like it. I like it. If you ever have questions, feel free to ask. I also do, on Wednesdays, I will do roster reviews for people. I'll sort of look at everything you've got unlocked and talk about what I would be focused on, what I wouldn't be focused on, what's good, what's less valuable. Excuse me. So if that's something you're interested in, then hit me up on my Discord. I'll share it now, and we can work out getting you involved in that. You hit 3 red stars on Symbiote Spider-Man. That's awesome. He is a great character. Definitely focus on Symbiote Spider-Man at some point, because he's awesome for Dark Dimension 2 and 3 when you get his gear tier up. And keep in mind that Dark Dimension 2 and 3 are not star dependent. They're only gear dependent. So you need a full team of T13 of gear tier 13 for Dark Dimension 2. And there's no other restrictions on that. They can be any tag characters. They just need to be gear tier 13. And then Dark Dimension 3, you need a full team of 5 Gear Tier 4 characters, and then Gear Tier 14 characters, rather. And then you will also need some specific tag characters as you go on. Eventually there's restrictions on Global, Cosmic, and City. But Symbiote Spider-Man checks the City box. Do you think DD2 is more achievable early than DD1? No, I think that DD1 is more achievable early on. Because the orange... Well, alright. I'm glad you asked this, because the answer I was about to give you as a knee-jerk reaction is actually an answer that may be a relic from me having started earlier. When I started playing, and had been playing for about 6 months to a year, if you look at Dark Dimension 1 gives you lots of orange gear material, right? At the time, this was one of the only ways to get it. It was from here or it was from very high level raids. So when I was getting to the point where I could have gear tier 13 characters, I needed to slog my way through DD1 to even have a chance at going into DD2. Now, since that time, the game has changed, and now you have War, and the War store is giving you access to important orange materials, gear materials. You just very recently had the introduction of SBCs into the Blitz store. You've got orange materials coming up in the Raid store. So for you guys starting out, you're in a much better position than we were coming up, because you can start really pursuing some of that equipment early on. Having said that, if you can get through DD1 and get all that material, that will help you get remaining material to get your characters to Gear Tier 13 to then jump into Dark Dimension 2. And then obviously Dark Dimension 2, you do get gear material also, but your big draw here is getting Ultron. Right, that's what you want. You want Ultron from Dark Dimension 2. And Dark Dimension 3 is where I currently am slogging through. This is what you need the Gear Tier 14 to do. So I'm on the 2nd node currently, slogging my way through that. Which I already did my attempt for today, but I am considering... Do I want to spend the 250 power cores to do another shot? You know, I think I will, actually. I will do another DD3 attempt right now. Come on. So again, the first nodes, all it requires is a full team of Gear Tier 14. As you get into the later nodes, it starts requiring specific tag characters. We're going to go ahead and do this on ×1 speed just because I spent all those cores. I want to make it last. drag it out a little bit. Plus, otherwise, the enemies in DD3 are so strong that they can like one-shot some characters. So if we do this on 3-speed, it's going to be over in a snap. They did just announce Dark Dimension 4. Dark Dimension 4, you will need the newly announced Gear Tier 15, which isn't in the game yet, but will be launched alongside Dark Dimension 4. You will need a full team of Gear Tier 15. I don't know. I'm assuming they're also going to put in specific tags like they did for Dark Dimension 3. And Dark Dimension 4's reward will be, I'm sure, more orange material and Dr. Doom, which will be an Ultron tier character. It's going to be really strong. I'm pretty excited about it, to be honest. So my hope is that I'm a little farther along in DD3 when they release DD4, and hopefully I finish it, get that material, and can get my DD3 team to Gear 15 pretty quickly. Alright, so we're gonna, like I said, drop this down to 1 speed here. Alright, what do I want to do? I'm gonna start by using Phoenix's special to apply stealth and defense up to try to make sure we survive the initial onslaught here. One-shotted by Captain Marvel, but she will summon Dark Phoenix as a result. Okay, so we're going to start. Now that we've got defense down, we're going to use Minerva's basic attack to throw bleed on Captain Marvel here. We don't need any healing, so I'm not going to use the health steal just yet. I will just basic attack Captain Marvel. Cyclops' basic also applies defense down. That's right. Miss Marvel's taunting currently, so we really don't have much choice anyway. We will then throw Iron Fist's basic, which will chain. She gets that heal off, but it comes with the slow. We will turn our attention back to Captain Marvel, who I really want to take out this attempt if I can. Surprised Phoenix survived that, but it doesn't matter, the thing finishes her off. Of course he does. Of course he does. We will basic attack Captain Marvel again for another bleed. Throw another defense down on her and just try to soak as much damage. I will consider this attempt a success if we can take Captain Marvel out, even if we don't take out anybody else. Alright. Punisher might do the job. Nope. It's just a marathon, Griffey Gordon. You can work on any of the Dark Dimensions for literally months. Months if you want to. Come on. Can't even see how much health she has. She's at such a low amount. Damn it. We'll get her for the next one, but that is annoying. We're about a third of the way through this node. Then we've got 2 more nodes that we can relatively easily work on with this current team. Once we get to this node, we can only use global characters, which right now only Phoenix and Cyclops fulfill that requirement. Yeah, the time runs is more just for bragging rights. You get rewards for each node you do for the first 2 attempts that you make. Every time you beat a node, you get rewards, right? In addition, when you do a full 100% clear, you get all these rewards. This is for the first time you clear it. Then you clear it a second time. Technically, it's a timed run, but again, you could take months if you need to. And then you get all these rewards, including a 5 red star Ultimus. So you finish up the second time. The third time and beyond, you don't get any of those rewards. You don't get per node rewards from the third time on, and you don't get 100% clear rewards third time on. Congrats to Yazid on Gear 13 Hello, though. That was awesome. Is that from this one? The attack I did earlier today was much better. I got a lot of damage in because Cyclops used his ult and cleared that wave, which was awesome. Hopefully, the next time I attempt that tomorrow, Cyclops will ult again and probably wipe out another wave, which is important. Let's actually do an arena fight. Let's see what my current position in the shard looks like. Still 122, that's not bad. Let's see. I don't want to fight this team because they're stronger than my team and they've got Black Bolt. So if Black Bolt kills my Phoenix, she won't revive. So I definitely don't want to do that. And they also have a really strong Phoenix and Hela. This team, I think I can beat. I'm gonna try it. We're using X-Men, but oh, what did I just hit? Is that my Wolverine? But instead of using Storm, who I was using, I threw Minerva in here just for the extra damage and stuff. Damage and healing and general tomfoolery. After this arena fight, I will just walk you guys through my recommendations for who you should focus on for Dark Dimension 2 and 3. Some of it's going to be limited to who you have or not. Like, I don't expect most of you less experienced guys to have Phoenix, who, if you have her, is definitely a recommendation, but if you don't have her, there's some other options you have. Yes, actually, Gordon, 100%. Specifically, Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage are the top 2, and then Venom is follow-up, but the 2 most important is Symbiote Spider-Man and Carnage. And we'll talk a little about why. So again, we want to start with that stealth maneuver. Here, we'll do this at 2 speed. We'll try to drag. Yeah, I'll take Cyclops with a taunt. Because if we can knock him out before he ults, that would be sick. 4% damage on everybody with Minerva, which is awesome. Do some chaining with Wolverine. You're getting close to Phoenix to Gear Tier 13. Totally worth doing, Shara. 100%. Gotta take this Cyclops out if I can help it. I don't like these charges. I think we're getting some light pollution here. Let me turn this down now that it's darker outside. I'm less shadowed. Ability blocked me, bastard. That actually wasn't that bad. I was expecting it to be a lot more damage from him. I'm going to go ahead and make sure our Cyclops stays alive, because if he gets his ult off, that will win us this match. That did not do as much as I expected. I actually want to try to take out Phoenix last, just to deprive him of Dark Phoenix as long as possible. How did that not kill Maw? Come on, guys. Let's be reasonable. Whatever, it's fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Alright, so now Dark Phoenix hits the field, that's fine. Yeah, Wolverine. Ouch. Oh, shit. It's gonna be tight. Oh, come on. No! It was so close. We stay at the rank we're at. Damn it. I thought we had that one. Oh. That sucked. Alright. Whatever. Whatever. Alright, so, Gordon, who I recommend that you focus on that you reasonably have. You already told me you have Symbiote Spider-Man, focus him. You want to focus on Symbiote Spider-Man because he counts a city, which fulfills the later nodes of Dark Dimension 3 when the time comes. In addition, he actually is specialized for raids in Dark Dimension, and he brings sustain to the team by healing himself and symbiote allies for 3% of his max health whenever a negative effect is applied, and we all know that he and Carnage and Venom drop tons of negative effects. So he'll keep them healing constantly, and he'll also give them drains that they're also healing when they do damage. So, and again, this is just, he only gives them the drain and the healing per negative effect in raids in Dark Dimension. So definitely, Symbiote Spider-Man is a game changer for Dark Dimension 2 and 3, 100%. 100%. Second character you want for Dark Dimension 2 and 3, you want Carnage. Carnage's Frenzy Fury helps with speed bar for himself and symbiote allies, which allows them to drop debuffs more often, which therefore drives that healing that Symbiote Spider-Man is doing. In addition, obviously, he drops his own bleed debuffs, and this ability, Slaughter, gains the additional 100% damage per negative effect, which is huge, right? So Carnage is second most important because where is Carnage farmable? Carnage is not so he's not directly farmable, but you can get him from the Gamma Raid orbs from the Gamma Raid, which is currently active. He's not farmable, but he drops in orbs, and I think it's a reasonable drop rate, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, that's right, War Store. Thank you, Dark Ice. And welcome to the stream, dude. Good to see you. Yeah, he is in the War Store. I completely forgot that. Dark Ice. Dark Ice came in with the save. So he does show up periodically in the War Store. You just need your lines to hit 20. And that's where Shara got him. Yeah, I've been farming him there myself also. I just totally forgot about it. Yes, he is in the he's in the war store. So that's good. If you really like symbiotes, then you can go with Venom also, because he also synergizes super well with the team. Too many damn teams to level up. You can't even finish Ultron to 75. I feel you, Dark Eyes. I feel you. You've had Carnage to 7 stars for a while, though. Yeah, mine is almost 7 stars. So, of the 3 symbiotes, Venom is the weakest of the 3, but that's not saying much because the 3 of them are all brutally strong. But Venom is the weaker of the 3 of them because of all the reasons I just mentioned. What's really nice about Venom and how he synergizes with the team, he applies defense up to himself and the other symbiotes. He dumps 3 bleeds with his Violate ability, and it actually lasts for 2 turns when it's maxed out. And then he spreads negative effects with Corruption, which is huge. So I definitely say he's a great choice, but you've got to be mindful for some of the other tags that you're going to require for Dark Dimension 3. So if you get the 3 of them, they're all city, which is great for your final nodes, but it leaves you still at a loss in the middle for your cosmic and your global, right? So for global characters, if you have Phoenix, she's the way to go. If you're really into X-Men, Phoenix with Colossus and or Cyclops is also a really good combo for those nodes. This is for Dark Dimension 3. Now remember, Dark Dimension 2, there are no specific tag requirements. It's just Gear Tier 13 characters. So, global characters, Phoenix should be your top priority, potentially with Colossus and Cyclops if you have them. If you don't have Phoenix, it gets a little stickier. We'll go ahead and hit our global tag here. For DD2, do you need a character who cleanses? I wouldn't say need. I don't think it hurts, but I don't think you need it. I skipped global. Where are we? Global. Okay. So, other characters you can go with. Obviously, you won't have Ultron the first time you do DD2. If you have Mr. Sinister, Mr. Sinister is a great character to take from DD2, because when you clone a character, you can bring in one of the worst characters you're dealing with from the enemy team, and now you have them on your team, which is huge. So Mr. Sinister, if you have him, is a good global option if you don't have Phoenix as a first target for you to go towards. If you don't have either of them, I don't know if you used Hela counts, yeah, 100%. Hela will give you your cosmic. Star-Lord, Minerva, those are all cosmic also. Black Bolt, you heard Invisible Woman is solid too. Absolutely. Those are all solid characters. So Gordon, you said you have Sinister 6, which you could unlock Invisible Woman, and she's global, and she'll fit a global tag. Trying to think of who your best option is if you had to pick one to start. Do you have Graviton, Gordon? Because if you have, no, you're too not far off to unlock him. Gotcha. Because Graviton counts as global, and if you get him to Gear Tier 13, you could potentially use him. He's a pretty strong character. Again, we're looking far ahead for you because you're not going to be ready for DD3 for a while, but what I would recommend is try to get the characters you need for DD3 to Gear Tier 13 that you can use them for Dark Dimension 2 also, and then you'll just have them, and you can use the material you get from DD2 to then prepare them for DD3. So if you don't have Phoenix by the time you're really ready to do Dark Dimension 2, Graviton's not a bad choice. But Phoenix, if you have Phoenix by then, Phoenix is a really good choice. And if you don't have Phoenix, but you have Mr. Sinister, he's a pretty good choice too. Yeah, long-term planning, that's what I'm recommending. As for cosmic characters, you've got, I think, a lot more flexibility there as far as really solid characters that work in both Dark Dimension 2 and Dark Dimension 3. Let's go down to cosmic here. So, number one suggestion, which you should have now from the July event, is Minerva. Minerva is like a must-have for Dark Dimension 3, and super usable in Dark Dimension 2 also. She does % health damage to enemies, which is huge when you're fighting enemies that have as much health as the enemies in Dark Dimension. She also provides heals and revives. She's a super useful character. You can also combo her with your symbiotes because she drops bleed with her basic. So definitely Minerva would be my number one. You got her 4 red stars, awesome. So I would definitely recommend you get her to Gear Tier 13 sooner rather than later. Beyond her, if you have Hela's a good choice also. Really, honestly, any of the Asgardians, I shouldn't say any. Your priority should be Hela, followed by Thor, and then Loki is your next strongest Asgardian that you can bring along. The Asgardians are a good choice for an all-around team. They're usable in Dark Dimension, they're usable in Raids, they're usable in Arena, they're usable all over the place. They're a top 3 team. They're awesome. So, to check off the cosmic nodes in Dark Dimension 3, Minerva would be my top choice, followed by Hela and or the other Asgardians. You can use Star-Lord also. Xander, you wouldn't do Thor. That's fair. I wouldn't do Thor as a main priority. We're just sort of theory crafting for Gordon because he's got limited selection at the moment. But keep in mind, Gordon, by the time you are really gearing up for Dark Dimension 3, you should be able to farm Hela. Hela would be an option over Thor, but obviously Minerva is your top choice here. 100%. How you doing tonight, Xander? Thanks for joining us. So, people use Star-Lord also. Star-Lord's nice because he's got the blind, he does feed energy, he's got decent damage, but I think there's way better choices, and resources are very limited. I'm doing alright, Xander. I'm doing alright. We're having a nice little stream today. You're just blitzing and stuff? Yeah, awesome. Awesome. I was doing my Dark Dimension 3 nodes earlier today. We hit some Ultimus 7, and now we're just chatting with Gordon, trying to help the next generation of MSF players coming up. Gordon's been playing for about a month, and I'm excited to see where he goes. So those are my thoughts. So again, the only 3 tags you really need to satisfy for Dark Dimension 3 are Cosmic, Global, and City. The other City character that's worth getting, by the way, that does synergize very well with symbiotes is Ghost Rider. And he's on my list as the next one of my next characters I'm bringing up. He checks off a City box, and he's just really strong, and he drops a lot of bleed, which is great for your other symbiotes. So I recommend him too. And what's nice about him, it's harder with the symbiotes because they share gear. So like I'm very close to getting Symbiote Spidey to Gear Tier 14. Carnage is next on the list. Venom's gonna lag behind because he's Bio also, so the Bio's gonna have to go to Carnage. But because Ghost Rider's Mystic, I can focus on him at the same time as I focus on Carnage, which is nice. Yeah, these hearted characters are all the characters I'm at least investing some resources in as I go here. But Symbiote Spidey is my focus so that he can join Minerva and Phoenix and Cyclops in Dark Dimension 3, and I can phase out my defenders. My greatest mistake. And obviously I'm also leveling up Beast because he's a beast and I love him. And so we gotta get him up to snuff with the other X-Men here. We do have a little gold, so I think I'm actually gonna level up Mr. Sinister. Yeah, just enough. I've got to get him to level 64 so I can finally max out his passive. You're not big on Beast, Xander. What's your reasoning? Let's chat it out. I like it. Let's have a philosophical conversation on to Beast or not to Beast. You just wish Beast was free. He's coming out in the Blitz. He's coming. Shower, you're thinking of taking Invisible Woman or Groot to DD2 for the cleanse and the buffs, but you're not sure which is better, or even if I need either one. Need is a strong word, but of the two, Invisible Woman is your better choice. Dark Eyes, you're probably sticking to Phoenix, Colossus, Wolverine, Cyclops, and Psylocke. Xander says, why makes X-Men a raid team? Well, I already have a raid team doing 75. So, 7 at difficulty 5, you're saying? Here's my thinking, okay? Psylocke is situationally useful for the X-Men team. She used to be vital because she turned Cyclops' basic into an automatic defense down, but they baked that into his kit now. So you don't need her for that. Her main driver of damage, or rather her main driver of usefulness in my opinion, is collecting debuffs from your team, removing them and throwing them on the enemy team. But not every team is super debuff reliant. There's a number of top teams in the meta that focus more on buffing themselves than they do on debuffing the enemy team. So that becomes far less useful. Now, Storm is nice because she forces the extra assists, and that can actually up your damage pretty significantly when you're running a team that has Phoenix, Wolverine, and Cyclops, because they're the ones, in my opinion, really carrying the X-Men team. So anytime you can make them attack more, you're benefiting the overall damage output of the team. But the downside of Storm is that, especially in game modes like Arena, she doesn't have a chance to rack up enough charges to make her abilities really shine, right? Along comes Beast, and here's why I like Beast. Yes, Beast turns X-Men into a viable raid team, which may not matter so much for players that have a really deep roster, Xander, but for newer players that are starting to make these choices as to what team they want to go to, it turns X-Men into a viable raiding team, which they aren't currently. Yes, it also helps with 3-starring challenges, and that's fine too. Not as important necessarily, but great. It's a cool thing. He's the only one that does it. That's a neat thing. Fine. I'm over it. That's not the most important thing with him. Thing 1, Dignified Strikes. Allow him to flip positive effects. That helps against teams like Black Order, right? Teams that really rely heavily on the buffs that they're providing. Being able to flip those buffs is something that is not currently in the X-Men's kit, that Beast can bring to that kit situationally in game modes like Arena or War, for example. Thing number 2, Volatile Experiment allows him to heal. Now, sustainability is less important in game modes like War and Arena, but it still can be very important. My X-Men team really relies in Arena to be successful on me getting Cyclops' ult off. The problem is a lot of teams in Arena do a lot of AoE damage, and even dropping the stealth from Phoenix cannot stop them from doing enough damage that they can take Cyclops out before he gets his ult off. And very often, my alliance victory for defeats comes down to a single question of, did Cyclops ult or not? If he ulted, we win. If he didn't, we lose. Being able to throw a heal in between there to top off Cyclops, since it targets the most injured allies, and typically that's Cyclops on my team, saves Cyclops, ensures that he gets his ult off, and therefore that we potentially win the match there. So his heal is very important in that regard. He also clears negative effects from himself. That's a gimme. It doesn't really matter to me. I don't need it. The heal is what I care about here. He does throw damage on all enemies. AoEs are always a good thing. They get around taunt. Fine. But the heal matters from that ability. Mutant Enhancement. If you get it off once per battle, that's good. It depends on the battle going off long enough. You may not get it to go off long enough. If he does get it to go off, he throws a ton of buffs on your team. Again, we're talking about a lot more survivability in arena and or war. This can change the tide of the battle significantly. Offense up, defense up, speed up, and regeneration to all mutant allies is huge. Finally, his passive ability, he gives himself and his allies resistance. That can matter because it can mean the difference of whether they take a defense down or not. It can make the difference of whether or not they get blinded by Magneto. These things matter. Yes, technically you have the cleanse from Phoenix, but that potentially helps you if you hold off long enough to make sure that Magneto gets it off before she stealths, which, depending on Magneto's power versus her power, she may end up going first and it won't matter. Having the extra resistance as a passive matters. On his turn, again, he heals. We're just talking about, let's keep Cyclops alive and make sure he ults. Let's make sure that Dark Phoenix doesn't die before she ults. That's why that matters to me. So, given the choice between him and Psylocke in Arena, because Storm doesn't belong in Arena, given the choice between him and Psylocke in Arena, depending on who I'm picking into, if I'm picking into Brotherhood, if I'm picking into Symbiotes, I pick Psylocke. If I'm picking into almost any other team than that, I'm taking Beast. Beast does it for me, man. Because he makes sure that my heavy hitters stick around and they do maximum damage, and they're the ones that are going to win me the match, not Psylocke. You know, not Beast. Beast isn't going to win me the match, but Beast may make sure that the people who will win me the match stick around. So that's my TED Talk on the issue. That's why I think Beast is the man, and I'm excited to have him. It's not about the raid. Yes, he does it. Yes, he turns them into a potential raiding team. You still can't use Phoenix on that team, by the way, because even though his ability makes it not count against loss of stars, she still is dead as far as the game is concerned, which means you can't use her in the next node. Thank you, Shara. But in that regard, if you are using them for raid, you want to throw in either Storm or Psylocke instead of Phoenix in that last spot. Shara says, I don't think Beast makes X-Men a better raid team. What he brings to the game is allowing you to use him to 3-star the campaign modes and challenges, so Phoenix becomes usable in those game modes. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like I said, him turning them into a raid team is less remarkable for me. That's a gimme. It's a nice little thing. I think it actually helps newer players rather than players who have deeper rosters. They don't need it. It just makes X-Men a more viable investment choice for younger players who normally say, well, I want to invest in them, but I need a raid team. It turns them into a team that can raid. So it makes them feel better about themselves and have a little more mileage out of the X-Men if they want to do that. Beast's strength lies in Arena and War, in my opinion. Yeah, Shara, to answer your earlier question, I'm not sure if I answered it. Invisible Woman over Groot, I'd say for DD2, all the way. Dark Ice, you're probably sick in a Phoenix class over Cyclops and Psylocke. Yeah. Yep, that's what I'm thinking. Invisible Woman is more usable for Ultimate 7. You used Groot for DD2. A lot of people used Groot for DD2. That was also, for the longest time, that was like the de facto thing, was you needed Guardians for DD2. I don't think that's the case anymore. I do not think that's the case anymore. For the X-Men team, you really don't think so? Let's look at Psylocke. Let's look at the kit here. My Psylocke is not as strong either. But where is she? She's still reasonably high up, I know that. Her basic does piercing, that's nice. Wolverine does that too, though. That's not remarkable. She gets the chain, but honestly, so many teams have counterattack, and counterattack breaks the chain. She does get the positive effect clear, but again, Beast gets that on his basic. So I would rather take that, because if he gets ability blocked, he can still flip it. He doesn't need a special to do that. Astral Butterflies, this is her like main thing. This is her niche. She transfers the negative effects, eventually it's all negative effects from herself and each X-Men ally to the primary target, and attacks them. It can't miss. That's nice. It only applies to one character though, and again, it still relies on her being faced up against teams that drop a lot of negative effects. So using it against teams like Asgardians that benefit more from their buffs than about dropping debuffs on people, I don't think she shines there. She gets evade and counter on spawn, which is nice. She applies counter when X-Men allies drop below. That's a good ability. And she personally gains resistance against Disrupted. Again, looking at Beast Kit, I think Beast's abilities are just better. She'll push out more individual damage than Beast will, but Beast dropping offense up on everybody means they're going to do significantly more damage. I think you get more mileage out of Beast. I see where you're coming from, Xander. I respect the difference of opinion, but for me, looking at the abilities, you're talking more about dumping resources into a character. So, what I will say is the one thing I think is better about Psylocke. No, thank you. I don't want your offers. She's where the fuck do you get her again? Is she's farmable, right? Because I haven't even gone for her. I don't even remember where the fuck to find her. She's a campaign node. Yeah, so that's what I thought. She's farmable, whereas Beast will only be from the Blitz event. So I think that's the one major thing she has going for her, is if you're really trying to prioritize farming X-Men as a newer character, you can farm her in ways that you're not going to be able to farm Beast. But I think power-wise, I think Beast gives you the most mileage. Again, don't get me wrong. If you have both of them and you're picking into specific teams, Psylocke is the way to go. I wouldn't even blink. And I would rather swap Beast out for Psylocke than lose Wolverine's damage or Cyclops' damage or something like that. So I think that's the flex position, right? I think that Storm, Psylocke, and Beast exist in that 5th position, and everybody else is non-negotiable. You don't negotiate Phoenix in Arena and War, you don't negotiate Cyclops, you don't negotiate Colossus, and I don't think you negotiate Wolverine. For me, the flex becomes, I'm going to pick Psylocke or Beast, depending on what team I'm picking in. I mean, look, we may have a different conversation in a couple weeks from now, once I get him up to snuff power-wise, and I'm trying him out and seeing how he really plays out. But just looking at the numbers in the kit, just looking at what he actually does, I think Beast will give you more mileage overall on that team. Look, I mean, I don't even know that in good conscience I tell people, oh yeah, out the gate you should be trying to get the X-Men. They are a top tier team, they're awesome, but I think that there are other teams that newer players should be focused on that'll allow them to unlock legendaries and stuff in a way that the X-Men do not. But if they like the X-Men particularly, or if, you know, they're a little further along and they are looking for just some strong teams to bolster their roster, I think he is a way to go for sure. Yeah, this war is in the... I don't want to get cocky and say it's in the bag, but I think this war's in the bag for us. Yeah, I don't think they can take out another room in time, and that's really what they'd have to do. They'd have to take out 2 rooms. I don't think they can do it. You're not saying he isn't good or wouldn't make the team better, just saying the gear, gold, and other match you need to replace one of the other characters. Just not worth it at the higher level. I don't disagree. Look, I mean, the other thing that I would say, Xander, is I don't think that Psylocke is a wrong choice, right? I think that we're talking nuances right now about, like, who optimizes the team the most. But as I said, no matter how you slice it, Phoenix, Colossus, and Cyclops in particular are carrying that team. Wolverine participates a lot, and I think he gives you more bang for your buck than the other 3, but in the end, we're talking about, like, probably a 5 to 10% swing in overall damage and power level. We're not talking about, like, game-changing stuff here, so I don't think you can make a wrong choice. Like, I think it would be viable just to be like, I like Psylocke better. I'm gonna use her. I think you're fine. Right? We can argue the nuances of exactly how much you can get the team to push out, but I don't think that there's a bad choice in that 5th slot. I think that the important ones are the main 3 and or 4 characters that you shouldn't be switching off them. You know, that's like people running the 3 symbiotes with Miles and Spider-Man. Like, sure, they're Spider-Verse, that's fine. Like, Spider-Man is really not doing anything for the team. The symbiotes are carrying that team. So, should you switch out another character? Sure. You put Ghost Rider on that team, he's going to synergize better with the symbiotes because of the bleeds and stuff he's throwing on. But, like, if someone said, I run full Spider-Verse because I really like Spider-Man, I don't think it's a wrong choice. You know, I think you can squeeze more out of them, but it's not an invalid choice. As long as they have the 3 symbiotes on the team. If someone tries to tell me they're running a Spider-Verse team based around the symbiotes, but they're not running Venom or something, then I think they're making an incorrect choice. But outside of that, I think you have some flexibility for what you like or what game styles you like, you know. Let's actually hit these gamma nodes quick. I think we'll go up the middle here. When do we know when they're actually dropping the difficulties for the Greek raids? I didn't see anything about that yet. I know they announced it, but I don't think they. Yeah, I don't think they put a timeline on it. Because that's something we desperately need. Because we're sort of. I think a lot of us are snoozing our way through this one. We could really use to up the difficulty. I don't want to be able to just mindlessly auto through these. So Xander, how long have you been playing for? Honestly, Xander, I overworked my defenders anyway. I've been playing since October of 2018, and at the time, defenders were great, and I invested pretty heavily in them, resource-wise, and so my defenders are actually at 430 something K. So I don't think I need to work on my defenders. I think they're good. mean, you have a lot of flexibility in these raids anyway. That you can use Hydra or other comps to get through, or mix and match as required. So I'm just changing an alarm I got here. Let's set that for 9:30. Bam. Cool. 843 days. Good for you. What's your total collection power? Yeah, we'll keep them. Wow, 9 million. You are double my collection power. I mean, you've been playing for probably close to a year more than I have, but that is a significant amount of collection power. What are your top 3 favorite teams, Xander? Whichever. Go for it. It doesn't have to be your strongest teams, just like the teams that you really like using the most. Top 3 teams. Everybody can play this game. Top 3 teams. Post it in chat. I'm curious. Like one of my favorite teams to play. And it's not my strongest team, but one of my favorite teams to play are the 3 symbiotes with Ghost Rider and Minerva. I just like to play it. It's a fun team for me to play. Like how their kit works together. I like how they synergize with each other. Overall fun team. You like Carnage, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Venom, Shuri, and X-23. Yeah, that's a good combo. I'm guessing you want Shuri in there for the defense up and the healing, or is there something else? Is there another reason why you're using Shuri? X-23 has got to be a really good combo with that, actually. Let me look for her here. Here she is. Piercing damage is nice. And you've got... Block to dodge, gain bonus attack. Yeah, that's a great ability. Very cool. Ghost Rider, Loki, Hela, Mordo. Nice. Thanos, Maw, Black Bolt, Minerva, Ultron. Sure, easier to heal up and defense up. That's what I thought. So Thanos, Maw, Black Bolt, Minerva, Ultron. I've actually seen that comp used before. That seems like a pretty strong comp. The other one is... Who's the last one? Ghost Rider, Loki, Hela, Mordo, and who's the last one? That's what I thought, Doctor Strange. Really? Just for the buff flip on the enemies and potential revives, or is there a specific reason why you need him on that team? It seems like that team is very bent on debuffs for the enemy team. You know, between Ghost Rider and Mordo, Doctor Strange will flip them, Hela will spread them. Is that a correct assumption that that's his primary function on that team? The flips, revive, and the basic would heal the... Yes, sure he's basic, correct. But yeah, he does debuffs too, Loki. I see why I'm on that team. I'm always thinking about the stealth and everything. That's the stealth and the minions, but the truth is he also he does drop the debuff. Cool. Very cool. Alright guys, it's coming on about 2.5 hours, which is about how long I like to stream on Saturdays, because I do want to spend some time with the family. But I really appreciate all you guys taking time out of your weekend to stop by the stream and hang out with me for a bit and chat MSF stuff. Mostly for that second is Mordo with Hela. Greg dying heals Mordo and gives him energy. 100%. 100%, that is a very popular combo. Stick around if you don't mind. I'd like to look around and see who else is streaming. Maybe we can raid somebody and give somebody some additional views tonight. But definitely tomorrow morning is our weekly Werewolf the Forsaken live stream in the morning. That starts at 10 a.m. Oh no, tomorrow's going to start earlier, I think. Tomorrow... I think we're starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll make a post about it in the Discord and on Twitter. And that'll be about 3 hours, I want to say, that stream. And then Monday we'll be streaming The Isle. Tuesday will be an off day because I'm going to host some MGA members that day. And then Wednesday we'll be doing Marvel Strike Force again. You guys have a great night. And let me see who's around. Who should we raid here? Why don't we go ahead and actually raid by Nora, because she is recently an affiliate streamer. She is a cool person, and she's pretty high in total collection power herself, so there'll be some interesting stuff to watch. Have a good night, guys. We're going to go ahead and switch to the stream ending, but like I said, if you are willing to stick around, and we'll do that raid. Have a good night.